Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to talk about my most recent LARP experience. If you don't know what LARP is, I will leave a video in the description explaining it a little bit. Basically, it's like living Dungeons and Dragons for a weekend. It's a fun time, I recommend it. So today we're doing things a little differently. We're kind of set up in my car because why not? I usually have like R2-D2 sitting right here, but I had to empty out the car for the trip, so he's not here right now, but yes. You will see that next time, hopefully, if we like this setup. Do we like the car? I don't know. I usually really like watching people do like car vlogs and stuff, so I was like, I figured we'd try it. So this last weekend, I went to a game called Dystopia Rising. It's a post-apocalyptic game, which means it kind of takes place in the future and has zombies. This game is really cool because they kind of have different chapters like across the whole country. So you might have heard of this game before, you might have even went to it. Okay, so I think I'm gonna start off with talking about my character and then I'll go into my experience at the game. So at this game, instead of having different races to play like you have in a medieval LARP, they have different strains of humanity. And basically what that kind of means where your character's from. It's kind of more of like a culture and general values kind of thing. Yeah. There are a lot of different strains, so I can't sit here and go through all of them. But I played a Yorker, which is a strain that originated in Old York, or New York now. So yeah, honestly, we're kind of like the stereotypical New Yorker. We are very brash and aggressive and have no concept of emotions. And yeah, we kind of struggle to make friends, but when we do get close to somebody, we are just extremely loyal. Another cool thing about Yorkers is we kind of remember treasuring sport memorabilia, but we don't exactly remember why. So we will kind of wear jerseys and sports patches and things as a kind of like a sense of hometown pride. So my character's name was Kat. It is actually short for Alcatraz. She was originally supposed to be blonde, but I arrived at game really late and had to throw myself together and didn't have time for a wig. So she was introduced to the town as just like my normal gingery self. So she might be blonde next game and she might not. I'm not sure. So this game started out with us kind of getting a tour of the town, in play of course. And while we were going around being showed all the different cabins and the different groups that are in town, we ran into a veteran player mod. So basically we ended up being attacked by these giant monsters and we had no idea what was going on, how to do anything. So yeah, that was a fun time. People were throwing abilities at me left and right and I was like, what are you doing? So yeah, I just kind of stood there like, what is happening right now? And I went down, so that was fun. So after we kind of finished the little newbie mod, I was pretty much too tired to get into anything since we had been driving for about 6 or 7 hours at that point, so I just kind of went straight to bed Friday night. But the next day was so much more exciting. So our NPC shift was right at about 12 o'clock in the afternoon. So I didn't really want to get into anything in the morning because I would have to get changed, go back, change out of my character stuff and go in it. Yeah, anyway. So yeah, the morning wasn't super exciting. I did at one point have somebody there was a little group that was high on orphan tears, which is apparently some kind of drug in the world, which I didn't know anything about. So they were like very loud and very obnoxious, and they're like, hey, who are you? And I look up and I go, none of your fucking business. Which I felt so bad about because that is not me out of play at all. And then I started walking away and he saw my blue bandana. And quick side note, this game has this thing where they give you a blue bandana and you wear it somewhere on your outfit to show people that you're a new player. This way they can kind of explain things to you before they like do it and can kind of include you more and just stuff like that. It's really cool. But anyways, I was walking away from this group. They saw my blue bandana and he goes, hey, 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 and then he starts like running after me, yelling blue bandana. And I run away and yeah, I don't know. I thought it was pretty funny. He gave up pretty fast, but yeah, no, it was really funny because he was just kind of shouting after me as I was running away. And the people who were on the porch of my cabin that I was running towards, they're like, run, run, come on, get away. So then I got changed for my NPC shift and I went over to plot cabin to start that. So the first thing I got to do was to be a shambler, which is kind of like a really weak zombie. We just have like really low health, do really low damage. We just go in big numbers and be annoying. So we kind of started attacking the town, and mind you, I got so into my NPC shifts at this game, okay? Like, I was just like getting really dramatic and really into it, and I would fall hard when I went down. Like, here's a picture of my bruised knees, like 3 days after the game. I was looking like this, so yeah, I was having fun. It was so nice though, because during this time, actually a lot of people, once I'd go down and I'd be like bleeding out, they'd be like, oh hey, like my name is blah blah blah, I remember like you're new here, like let me know if you need anything, whatever, and they would like help me up and introduce themselves, and I thought that was so nice. The next mod I went on was supposed to be a giant zombie attack. So basically I was a new type of zombie called a bonehead, and we basically were given thrown packets, and we could control people and just do all kinds of fun stuff like that. And it was fun because basically he's like, alright, we're gonna play in this big attack, we're gonna remind this town that they need to fear the Zed, which are the zombies in this world. And then somebody came in from town and while we were prepping and was like, hey, just so you know, they want to have a really big fight, so bye, and then left. And so the plot person was just kind of like, you know what, screw that, I know I just said you're all level 3, but you are all now level 4. So yeah, so then suddenly like our health, like, I was about to say our health doubled after that, but I think mine actually like increased like 10 times. So I'm having 30 health to 150, so not 10 times, but a lot. I got a lot more health. So yeah, that was fun. We kind of got to go in and plan an attack on the tavern, and we were actually like strategizing this time, and we're like, okay, we're gonna send this group to the front, and then this group is gonna go like in the back into the tavern and attack people while they're like hiding in there while the fighters are out front. So that was so much fun. And there was one point where I was in the tavern and I got downed, and in this game you have to killing blow people. Like when they're down and bleed out, you have to finish them off, otherwise they can keep crawling around and whatever. In the tavern I actually got downed, and I was just kind of like growling and like crawling around a little bit, and then I remembered as a Zed you can gnaw on other players that are down. So I was like, let's do that, because no one was finishing me off. I was like, okay, we're gonna remind them that I'm here and I'm not done. There was like this really cinematic moment where I was just kind of like scrambling around, and then all of a sudden I just do this, and there's this down player like sitting right there, and I'm just kind of like, and I start like speedily like scooching myself over to her while I'm like growling and like nipping at her and stuff, and she's like, help me now. And there was this one point during this fight when I respawned later and I was fighting outside in front of the tavern. I would throw a packet at somebody, and he literally ninja jumped over this thing. Like he jumped and did like a split in the air, and it went shoo. We both just like completely broke character and like busted out laughing. I can't believe it actually worked, but it did. But I really felt like my being super dramatic and falling really hard definitely helped other people have more fun. There's one point where I went down and I was still like growling and like trying to get back up, like "Arr." Not like that, but you know what I mean. And instead of just like, you know, putting your weaponing on me and being like, killing blow 1, killing blow 2, killing blow 3, okay, you're dead, this girl was like, killing blow 1, killing blow 2, killing blow 3, and like she was so into it, and I was like, like I took the hit, like it was I don't know. It's just, I feel like something like that, like, sounds really ridiculous, but it just felt really special, and, like, I really helped her kind of get into that moment, and yeah, I don't know. It was really fun. Oh, and it was really fun during my first time as a Zed. I should backtrack real quick. When I was the weaker one, I actually helped, like, another new player kind of feel all big and tough, because there was one person who had a shield, and she was walking in front of me, and she'd smack on it and be like, hey, over here, look over here. And this new player would be behind me, like, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. So, like, he had to do a lot of those to take me down, because most people kind of hit, like, 7, 8, 10, that range. So for someone to hit you with 2s, like, it takes forever for them to kill you. So this one person was helping a new player, just kind of, like, by distracting me, and I'd be like, huh? And then he'd, like, be hitting me from the back, and I'd be like, huh? And she'd be like, no, over here, and I'd be like, huh? I kind of come back this way, and, like, just attacking her while he's literally just on my back. 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. And again, just another moment that kind of seemed small, but it just felt special. So later, when I went back into character, it was kind of, actually during the day, it was pretty chill for a while. I hung out with a group called the King's Court, which is basically like a group of, it's like a faith in the game where they kind of, not worship music, but kind of. Basically, they find old songs from the old world and kind of use them as like hymns and kind of study the lyrics and find like deeper meaning and stuff like that. Basically, so I just kind of hung out with them for a little while, and they would like play instruments and sing, and it was really fun. And one person kind of just talked to us about the faith a little bit, and yeah. It was funny actually, because she actually told a story about, the song "The Devil Went Down to Georgia." She basically told us that in story form, and like I didn't even realize it until she was like, and then this guy, Johnny, he took out his fiddle, and he fiddled, the beat was so strong with him that he fiddled against the devil himself, and even the devil himself knew that the beat was so strong within him that he laid down his fiddle, and like, it was really funny. She went on for like at least 15 to 25 minutes about it. It was really funny. So later in town, this guy started going around and trying to get a bunch of people together to play a sparring game. And basically he explained these rules as, you go down in one hit, and when you go down, you just take a knee, and if the person who hit you goes down, you go back up, if that makes sense. So for someone to win, they have to be the person that downed everybody, kind of. So, yes, but it was really fun because when he was explaining the rules, he was like, okay, so if I down you, and then blah, blah, and kind of was explaining the rules, and I was like, well, you're not gonna down me, but like, yeah, okay. And he was like, excuse me? He was kind of like, yeah, okay, like newbie, like whatever. And so when we actually went outside and like got a big circle together, and we're about to do that, he looks at me and he goes, I want to fight you first because you said I couldn't down you. And I downed him before he finished his sentence. So yeah, and then he just kind of like sat there for a minute. He's like, oh. So yeah, so then he went down. I didn't end up winning any of the rounds, but I thought I did pretty well. So yeah, that game was really fun. And then we kind of took a break for a little bit and went back inside. And there was a moment where I was just kind of like staring out the window because we were expecting this really big beast to come and attack. So I was just kind of watching for that, whatever. And then this guy who I was just talking about was walking by, and he has this giant staff as his weapon, mind you. And so he stops in front of the window and starts pole dancing on it. As you do, And at this point, I had just kind of stumbled across a lot of money, so I just reach in my jacket and I start. So yeah, I gotta make it rain on somebody on my first game. It was a fun time. Oh, I also forgot to mention that at about this time, I actually went to bed because I was like, I'm just kind of hanging around, nothing's coming, whatever. And I was like in my pajamas, curled up in bed, and people came in and was like, there's a giant beast coming to attack. If you stay in the cabins, you will be dead. You have to come to the tavern where it's safe. And I was like, okay. So I popped back out of bed, threw myself together, and another group came in and said, you have to come to the tavern. If you stay in the cabins, you're gonna be dead. I was like, okay, I'm coming. So I just like did the quick version of myself. I didn't have makeup on, whatever. And I ran into the tavern. And so yeah, this is when we were waiting for the beast to attack. So then while we were waiting, they decided to have a fashion show in the tavern. This was probably one of the highlights of the weekend for me. So they had the people kind of go down and like put on a little show, strike a pose, and go back. And the guy who I fought in the sparring game and made it rain on earlier, he decided to take off his shirt and throw it to me in the crowd. It was so funny. And he even like threw me like a little like, I was like, hi, how are you? So yeah, my character was all about that. She later when they were kind of they did that thing where they let the audience choose the winner by like putting a hand over the contestant and everyone cheered. So when they went over him, I kind of like took his shirt and started like, woo, screaming my head off, as a Yorker does. Sadly he didn't win, but I thought it was hilarious, so he won in my heart. So yeah, basically this giant beast comes and attack, and I miss a lot of plot about this because I don't know why he's attacking, what's happening. Basically a bunch of people decided to sacrifice themselves to stop him from attacking. So he kind of took a couple townspeople out there and they, yeah, killed themselves, I guess. And one of my Yorker friends knew someone who sacrificed themselves. So he kind of dragged their body back inside and like laid beside them, kind of just really depressed. And I feel like we had a good moment when I was like, you know, I don't really know about all these like emotion stuff, but if you need somebody here for you, I'm here for you. And he was like, thank you, like I really appreciate that. If you could just like sit with me. And we just kind of sat there, and someone from King's Court came up, because my Yorker friend is in King's Court, and she kind of started like playing her guitar, maybe? It's like the small version of a guitar. Is it the ukulele? Yeah. So basically she starts playing that, and so the two of them would like sing, and it was just a really nice moment because it was like nighttime in the tavern, just like the four of us sitting there, well, the three of us in a dead body, just kind of like playing music and stuff to kind of console his mourning and stuff. So I thought it was a really nice moment. So after the game, my Yorker friend, by the way, this guy we carpooled with up to the game, so I knew him really well out of game. So basically he told me that apparently 2 people had come up to him Saturday night and told them in character that they had a crush on my character, which I thought was hilarious. I feel like I didn't even do that much, but apparently I did enough. One of them was the guy who I made it rain on and who threw me a shirt. But another one was just kind of like a random Yorker girl that we'd sparred with. So yeah, I think that's hilarious that I'm already like stealing hearts and stuff. My first game. And the girl that actually talked to my friend has been like talking to me every day since, and we might be planning a relationship for our characters, which I think would be really fun because I haven't really been able to do any in-game relationships yet, so I think this is gonna be really fun. And I think this is also really good because out of play I am super straight, but I think it would be good for me to have a relationship with a girl in game, because then I wouldn't have to worry about feelings transferring out of game. You know, I don't have to be like, okay, you meant that in game, right? You weren't actually hitting on me. Okay, wait, do we need to have a talk? She is married to a man and I am very straight. So I feel like that's a perfect situation because she is so nice out of game. I think we're gonna be really good friends and we don't have to worry about anything getting awkward, so. But I also don't know because I have another friend that's coming in next game who joked about flirting with my character as well, so this character is probably just gonna end up being a heartbreaker, and I didn't plan on this, but here we are. I'm actually super excited for next game because I have about 4 friends coming in, and we're kind of going to be like a gang kind of thing. Basically we're gonna have Bonnie and Clyde be our leaders, basically. And then we have a mute doctor who communicates through sign language, which is awesome. And then we have our long lost leader that we thought was dead. So I think it's going to be super fun, and yeah, I think it's going to be so much fun. I'm so excited. Yeah, it was just kind of a bummer because none of them could make it to this game, but of course I still had a lot of fun, and so I think it's going to be fun. My character is kind of supposed to play almost like the bodyguard kind of role. I kind of do the smacking down that needs to be done. I kind of use the word gang, but we're kind of more like the mafia. Not actually, of course. In game. Very in game. So yeah, I'm really excited. Our two current leaders are going to be purebloods, which are what they sound like. They're kind of gonna be very fancy, maybe a little bit snobby, and I think they're really gonna kind of give off mafia vibes, which I'm so excited about. I think it's gonna be funny for us to just kind of come in as a giant group, we own the place, even though we're all very new to town. So yeah, I'm very excited for next game. I had so much fun at this game as well. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and I will see you all in the next video. Let me know if you like this type of video, if you like the car scenery or not. I just thought I'd try something new. And yeah, I'm also currently working on a name change, so if you have any suggestions, that would be super helpful. And thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.